Hi, I'm Mark,
And this is Herb.
and we are the Tech
Tech
Wranglers.
Wranglers.
We're here this week. We're going to talk about iOS 9 and its new features,
iOS 9 has dropped. It dropped last Wednesday, and people are downloading it like crazy.
except if you're here at ACC, where it is currently blocked, but that block should undo itself later this week. In the meantime, you are welcome to download this at home or any place that is not ACC.
McDonald's.
McDonald's, there you go. So let's kind of dive in. We've already taken this iPad and upgraded it to iOS 9. I changed the background just because I like the planet. That's all. It's not the standard background that comes with it. So let's talk a little bit about the Photos app first. One nice thing in the Photos app now is when you go take a look at the camera roll, I just did a few little random shots here to show you guys. If you want to select photos now the old way you have to do it, you'd hit select up in the corner here, and you'd have to hit each individual photo one at a time like I'm doing here. Now you can select one, hold, and drag, and it will highlight all the photos for you.
Look at that. Just drag it across them. It just went all and selected all those just like that.
It's a very nice, simple little feature, and very just something that's a nice addition to iOS 9.
And I know it doesn't look like that big of a deal right here, but I'm telling you, I've got like 1,000 pictures on my phone and my iPad, and a lot of times that one little selecting like that, and sometimes there's pictures that you just want to get rid of. You were like shooting at a concert or shooting whatever, or you pressed and held the camera button down, and you got tons of pictures, and now you want to delete them or move them or whatever like that. This will save you lots of time.
Definitely. Another nice feature in iOS 9 now is, and I'll actually want to cover something on this screen in a second, but if you notice down here at the bottom of the screen, there's a little scroll. If you just hold your finger down, you can now scroll through your pictures like this, back and forth, real easily. I know you can't see me holding my finger down, but I'm basically holding my finger down at that little collage of photos at the bottom that's moving back and forth.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, that he's holding his finger down just left and right. Once again, when you take lots of photos, just because you hold the button down too long when you take pictures, I do that. And yeah, you get tons of them in there. You can just scroll through, see the best ones, and be able to get to them.
Now, one of the things I actually want to cover on this particular screenshot that I took is, look, we all know, Android, Apple. There's fanboys on both sides of the table. There's nothing wrong with that. Both phones are great phones. Apple has made some significant strides in helping people migrate from Android. So the screen you're looking at here is this is from the initial setup of this particular iPad, and I did choose to set it up as a new iPad in this instance. But there is an option to move data from Android, and on top of that, Apple does have a Move to iOS app in the Google Play Store, which will help Android users migrate to iOS 9. We have one person here in IRT that I know of that is anxiously waiting to get her iPhone this Friday, and she will be a converted Android user.
Which that cracks the app, because why did Google allow them to create the app to put it in their store? It floors me.
The one thing you found about the Google Play Store versus the Apple App Store is Google is a lot more loose with what it will allow. Part of the reasoning with that in the Android world is if you don't get approved for the Google Play Store, you can still sideload the app freely with no problem. So. Right. I guess maybe Google just thought it was in their best interest to allow it.
Because obviously, if you're using this app, you're leaving Google.
Exactly.
So
that's just kind of a brief overview of the new features in the camera roll, photo roll. There's obviously a ton more features that we're not going to go over in here, but explore and have fun with that on your own. So let's talk a little bit now about some of the new features that are in Safari. Safari is the default browser on iOS 9, and as you can see, I also have Chrome installed, but these features are specific to Safari. So if you go into Safari and you want to, so I'm on the KXAN website right now. If you see the little kind of circle-looking button here on the end of where it says KXAN.
The reload button.
The reload button. If you press and hold that, you see it comes up and says Request Desktop Site. So if you are on a website that you've got the mobile version of, you can press and hold the little reload button and then click Request Desktop Site, and that will allow you to actually get the full-blown website in your Safari browser.
And I know, because there are a lot of sites that automatically will default you into their mobile site, and I really don't like that. I like especially on the iPad, because you've got more screen real estate. You can actually see the full desktop site. I get it on the phone why it might do that, but when I'm on the iPad, I want to be able to see and be able to go through and use the full
I
thing.
can see this as being a real useful feature with the new iPad Pro.
Oh gosh, can't wait.
Because I mean, you're talking a what 12.9 inch screen there.
Yes, this
So,
right here.
yep, absolutely. So that'll be a whole other Tech Wranglers episode that we do as soon as I figure out who I'm going to get to pay for my iPad Pro. Another neat feature that Herb and I stumbled onto is you have the ability to save any web page as a PDF now, and it'll go directly into iBooks.
This is so cool because right now nobody ever has to print, which they shouldn't anyway, a web page ever again. But even better, this gives you offline browsing because you can save the web page and look at it later on.
So you see, I went to the Austin Community College webpage. Let's say I want to save this webpage for one reason or another as a PDF so I can look at it. So next to the reload button, you have a little box with kind of a little arrow that points out of it. If you press that box, you're going to see this little pop-up come up here. Now, in the second row here in the middle where you see message mail, if you scroll over to the left, you're going to see the option Save PDF to iBooks. So if you click Save PDF to iBooks, it goes and creates the PDF, and boom, right there, drops into iBooks. Now, obviously, this is not, you're going to lose formatting and things like that, but if you're just looking for text and things along those lines, it's a perfect way to save a web page for later reading.
And certainly if you have a long web page that's like a blog that has like several things on it, this is definitely will help you with that to be able to go through it and, like I said, look at it later on. Now, the sad part is, once again, I said offline browsing. It really wasn't totally true. You can't click on each of those little deals and go to them, but you can see them. You can read the information. So basically, it's better for long reads. If you ever read like the New Yorker articles or something like that, this would be ideal to be able to save that article because those are long articles. I'm sorry, they are. And you can, when you get time, you can go back and finish reading it later on.
Another thing I want to take a sec, show you guys. Apple has this new news app. Where did it go? Here it is. And I went ahead and actually kind of already set up the stuff that I'm interested in reading. So this basically, think of this as your personalized electronic newspaper. I chose the subjects for me that are of interest, which are, well, as you can see here, Apple news and technology websites and iPhone news and consumer electronics. There's a wonderful way to kind of get news curtailed to the way you want it and the way you want to see it. When you initially set this up, it will ask you to choose things, and the list goes on and on and on. I stopped after, as you see, I had what I got here, 6, but the list kept going and going and going. Fantastic new app. Now, that being said, the old newsstand app in iOS9 is now gone.
Yay!
So if you're like me and you do a lot of magazine reading on your iDevice or your iPad, you don't have that. It doesn't show up in Newsstand anymore. It's its own separate little magazine or separate little app, if you will. So that's a little bit about the news app, which is, like I said, it's news your way. One of the other things we want to mention, the Spotlight search has really improved in iOS 9. Now, you get to the Spotlight search by swiping to the right. So that will bring up, as you see, the typical Spotlight search. If you've used a Mac, this is very familiar to you. Now, the neat thing about this is this has kind of a quick built-in calculator and conversion. So if I just type in the search field 476, and I want to multiply that by 229, it tells you that information right on the fly. The other neat thing is if I wanted to convert, so if I just said 1,000 G, as you see, grams was British pound, GBP. Is that it? So it does the conversion automatic for a nice, simple little built-in calculator if you don't actually feel like opening the calculator app.
And I like this even better than calculator because, like, I didn't have to try to, you saw it was going to do grams, it would have done pounds, it would have done measurements, and so it automatically does that for you, and you're typing it in more or less real language, so you can get those conversions, pretty quickly. So
now I kind of saved some of the cool features of iOS 9 kind of towards the end here. So let's start a little bit. Let's talk about, let's say I'm surfing the web here with Safari, and I want to bring up another app, or I need to do something else. If you swipe in from the right-hand side, you can see in the moment I was messing with messages earlier, but what will generally happen is that will come up. Now these are all the different apps that I can currently open in conjunction with my browser. So if I wanted to say open my Maps app, I click Maps, go ahead and allow it to find out where I am. I'm on Wi-Fi here, so it's not really going to work. But here's the cool part. I can actually split this screen perfectly in half and have the two apps running simultaneously, and I can work in either one of them. If I can go over here and go to KView. I can come over here and search for, I don't know, let's bring up Highland Business Center. Well, there you go, Highland Business Center, Austin Community College.
That's where we are.
So I can work in both of these apps. It's very cool. If I want to work on one or the other and make one go away, so say I want to work on the Map app, just slide fully over here, and there I've got the Map app. I want to bring stuff back, I can come over here, go back to Safari, and same thing. I can split the screen. When you move it, it automatically splits the screen in half. And then I can just swipe over here, swipe over there.
This is going to go great with my iPad 1. I'm going to love this feature. This is going to be awesome. This is what the iPad's always been waiting for.
So it's worth noting that this feature is only available on the iPad Air 2 and above.
What? Not on my iPad 1?
Not on your iPad 1.
Not on my iPad 2?
I think the iPad 1 is more of a boat anchor, maybe a doorstop.
Not on my iPad 3?
No, it's just not happening.
I've got an iPad 4.
Yeah, no, maybe a Mini 4? I don't know.
No, the Mini 4 is new. I don't have a Mini 4 yet.
So no, this basically, this is an this is an iPad feature, not an iPhone feature.
iPad Air 2 and above.
Yeah, so that basically means the latest and greatest iPads, and that's it. Now, the next feature I'm going to show you also applies, I believe, only to the latest and greatest iPad. So, the initial idea we had for this didn't quite work, so what we've done is we switched over to a hover cam for the time being, so because it's the only way that we can show this feature off to you. So let's go back here now. So I'm going to launch my my video again here. I know some of the screen is washed out. Apologize for that, but it's we're floating here on a hover cam. So I'm going to start my Lost in Space video again. So now you see I've got my Lost in Space video playing. Well, here's the cool thing. If I hit the home button right here, not only does my video keep playing, but it still gives me the ability to go into Safari or any of my other apps that I choose to. I can launch anything I want here. I can pop in and out of videos all day long. I can even go into FaceTime, which you can see the view of the hover cam that we're doing.
That's so cute.
Now, the other cool thing about this, I can move the video around to the corners. I can make the video bigger. So it's just a neat feature if you're working on an iPad and you just want to kind of have some video up in the background. Now, I haven't tried this yet. I don't know what happens here. Can I swipe in from the right? Now, I can't really swipe in from the right here to open up the...
But you have to open up something and then try open up something and then swipe in from the right.
Yeah. Let's see. So let's open up. There we go. Safari. Swipe in from the right. Well, there we go. I don't know if it'll let me do that. Well, there we go. That's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, you can this is for that ADD person that really has to have their maps going, their website going, their video going.
So as you can see, now we've got 3 things going simultaneously on the iPad. Very, very, very cool feature.
Yeah, do the search on Angela Cartwright.
Angela Cartwright?
Or is that Veronica? I always get them mixed up.
Who is that?
Penny! We just saw in Lost in Space.
Oh, look.
That was the teenage Penny. That was the good one.
I got Lost in Space for free. I don't remember the actors' names.
Well, see, this is why this is cool, because you could search the actors and you can find out where they live. So look up Angela Cartwright on the map.
Angela Cartwright. I don't know that it's going to bring Angela Cartwright up on the
maybe
map, but that would be a little creepy and a little stalkery. So no, we're not going to do that.
Just a little stalkery.
All right, so that was one of the very, very cool features I wanted to make sure we showed you guys about iOS9. What I want to do here is actually we're going to stop this and we'll switch back over here so we can splice all this together in the end.
Angela just fell.
All right, so now that we use the hover cam to kind of show you that, again, DRM predicted video, this will work perfectly fine on your iPad Air 2 when you're not trying to record it. One of the other quick things I want to show you is the new task switcher, if you will. So if you double tap the home button like you've always done in the past, you see now instead of the row of icons across the bottom, you now have what I would just call big tabs here. All right, and you can swipe back and forth to get to any of these things by just getting them in your highlight and clicking, or not. There we go.
There you go.
It's I got so many things open here. Let me close this out. Go away. There you go. But it's a much easier way to you swipe up now to close all your different apps out. And while Apple says that it really doesn't do anything to close those apps out, I've always respectfully disagreed with them. I feel that when you have 10,000 things open, it's just going to slow the iPad down and shorten your battery life.
So yeah, being able to, I think I like the other one better, where you just send them up and kind of let and you kind of see that better. But this gives you that kind of cover flow type feel to it. And I guess we'll see how well it works. And I still can't believe that we are 5 years into the iPad and nobody has invented the app that says close all. I just want that one button that says close all. It'll close everything else out, and you're done.
Something of interest here, just to note that while the day that iOS 9 came out, Apple also dropped the iOS 9.1 beta. And I'm running that on a couple of my devices already. Not much of a difference in anything yet that I've been able to see, but it's just interesting to note that already came out. A couple of things to point out or discuss, mention. Not all features of iOS 9 are available on all devices.
None of them on the iPad 1.
None of them on the iPad 1. It's also worth noting that there is no Siri on the iPad 2. It doesn't work. The split view multitasking, that the whole deal when you've got Safari open and you swipe over and bring up the clock or whatever, that is only available on the iPad Air 2, Mini 4, or above. Same thing with the picture-in-picture and the multitasking and all that. There's a health app, but that's only available on the iPhone. Some of the things to talk about that the iPad also does not have. There is a low power mode available on the iPhone. What that does is it disables some of the most battery intensive features of your iPhone in the event your battery starts getting low. It'll help prolong its life. Talked a little bit about the Android data transfer, that you have to have an iPhone 5 or newer for that. AirDrop, which we didn't really talk much about, and we'll cover that in a different episode. That's actually only available on the iPhone 5 or newer. Apple Pay is available on the iPhone 6 or newer, and it is actually available on the iPad. I don't know if it's or the iPad Air 2, I should say. So that's kind of just a brief overview of, this is kind of the first, Apple, every time they put out a new version of iOS, there's some features that don't make it onto older devices. This is really one of the first times, Herb, that I can recall that some of the cooler features, like the split screen and the slide over and the videos, have only made it onto the newest devices and nothing previous to that.
And this is kind of an interesting break. So this is the first, or I guess the second real break. So, okay, yes, I've been doing the jokes about my iPad 1, which I still love. But yeah, my iPad 1 is basically almost useless at this point. You can read on it, you can check mail on it, and that's about all you can do without it crashing. The iPad 2, though, can still run iOS 9. So you can upgrade your iPad 2 to iOS 9. You just won't get all the newest features. And those of us, I do have an iPad 3, I do have an iPad 4. Those will still work with but it won't get, once again, the newest features. And the iPad Air 2 is only, a year old. So,
yeah, if
that, maybe half a year old. Yeah. So iPad Air 2 and above is really the market that they're shooting for. And of course, the future owners of the iPad Pro is what they're really, I think, they're looking for, because I think that when they really look at these features, the more screen real estate you have, the better I think all this is going to work.
I think when the Pro actually comes out, one of us gets our hands out, we'll actually have to do a brown bag kind of users group about that, because that's going to be a lot to show off. Yeah, it's interesting to note, too, Apple really didn't make a big deal of this at their most recent presser, but the iPad Mini 4...
Yeah, they mentioned it, and that was it.
But it is a nice upgrade from... I mean, if you're running a set... So, if you're running an iPad Mini 2, this is a pretty decent upgrade. Now, I said all along that the Mini 3, when it came out, that just hands down wasn't worth the money. The only thing it added was Touch ID. But the Mini 4 actually adds the better processors, a lot of nice new features with the Mini 4, and it's a pretty nice upgrade from an iPad Mini 2 if that's the device you choose to rock.
And you can do all this wonderful stuff just smaller.
So that about kind of sums it up. That's a very quick overview of iOS 9. You can get a much more detailed overview of the changes in iOS 9 by going to apple.com and searching for iOS 9. As always, we hope you enjoy these videos. We'll come up with some more. We're welcome to your suggestions. You can email me at mpetrick, MPETRICK, at austincc.edu.
And Herb Coleman, that's H Coleman, that's HCOLEMAN, at austincc.edu. You can check that out. And looking forward to the latest versions of the iPad and Apple TV coming out next month. So there's a lot more going on in the ecosystem.
So thanks for watching, guys, and we hope you tune in again to our next episode of
The Tech Wranglers.